my darlings, it's Nikki here today, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you 6 different headband braids that you can easily wear for every day. I personally love incorporating different hair embellishments into my hairstyles to make them a little more special, but if you guys don't have any hair embellishments, or if you feel that adding hair embellishments is a little bit too much for your taste, I think these 6 beautiful headband braids are perfect options for you. The headband braids I'm going to show you today are very easy to create on yourself. It just takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, you can get it done under 3 minutes. I really hope you guys like these headband braids, and if you want to know how I recreated them, please keep watching. Alright, so before we begin braiding, what I like to do is part my hair to one side. I'm using the tip of my rat tail comb to do this, and I'm just creating a deep side part rather than starting at the end of my ear because I find that it looks more flattering like this. So once I parted my hair, I'm picking up a section of hair with my fingers and I'm separating the section into 3 strands. So here we're going to braid a regular French braid. To braid a French braid, all you have to do is cross the strands over the middle strand, just like you would when you're braiding a regular 3-strand braid. And after you cross the first 2 strands like you normally would, you're going to start incorporating hair from the outside of the strands into the braid. So for example, if I'm crossing over the right strand over the middle strand, I'm going to pick up a section of hair from the outside of the right strand, combine it with the right strand, and then cross that whole chunk of hair over the middle strand. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with the other side. So if I'm working with the left side, I'm taking the left strand, crossing it over the middle strand, and incorporating a chunk of hair from the outside of the left strand into that section of hair as well. I'm continuing to repeat these steps until I reach my ear, and then I'm going to continue braiding a regular braid. I'm going to stop right about here, and then I'm going to go in with my fingers and gently pull apart the sides of the braid just to fan it out a little bit and make it a little bit more effortless looking. Once I'm happy with how my braid looks, I'm going to take a bobby pin and just pin this braid behind my ear. I'm pulling apart the braid a little bit more, and then once you've done that, you're done. This second braid is very similar to the first braid we just braided. So instead of incorporating sections of hair from the outside of the braid into both strands from the left and the right, you're just going to be incorporating sections of hair into the strand that is closest to your face. So I'm going to call the strand that's closest to my face the right strand. So what you want to do is braid the 3 strands like you normally would a regular 3-strand braid 2 times, and then the next time you cross the right strand over the middle strand, you want to incorporate a section of hair from the outside of the right strand into the right strand, and then cross that whole section over the middle strand. I'm going to keep repeating these steps until I reach the top of my ear, and then I'm going to continue braiding a regular 3-strand braid. I'm stopping about halfway down this section of my hair, and then I'm pulling apart the braid with my fingers. Notice that I'm pulling apart the braid on the outside, the part that is not attached to the head. This trick is what's going to make this braid look very different from the first braid that we braided. I'm pinning the braid behind my ear just like I did the first time, and then I'm fanning out the braid a little bit more just to add a little bit more thickness to it. So for this third headband braid, we're going to be using the exact same technique as we did for the first headband braid, except instead of crossing the strands over the middle strand, we're going to be crossing the strands under the middle strand. So you want to start off as you normally would with a regular 3-strand braid, and then cross one of the side strands under the middle strand, then cross the other side strand under the middle strand. Now, every time you cross the side strand under the middle strand, you're going to incorporate a section from the outside of that side strand. I'm going to keep repeating these steps until I reach my ear, and then I'm going to continue with a regular Dutch braid. Once I reach the halfway point of this section, I'm going to pull apart the braid again using my fingers, and then I'm pinning the braid behind my ear just like I did with the other braids. And of course, I can't help but pull apart the braid just a little bit more. Okay, so for this braid, you want to use the exact same technique as we did in the previous braid, except instead of incorporating sections of hair into both the left and the right strands, you're going to only be incorporating sections of hair into the strand that is closest to your face. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to be calling that strand that's closest to my face the right strand. So keep braiding a Dutch braid while incorporating sections of hair into the right strand only. I'm continuing to braid until I reach my ear, and then I'm going to braid a regular Dutch braid halfway down that section of hair. When I get to the halfway point, I'm just pulling apart the braid with my fingers, and notice again that I'm only pulling apart the braid that is not attached to the head, so that would be the outside section or the left section of the braid. Once again, once I've finished braiding my braid, I'm going to pin it behind my ear. To braid this French fishtail braided headband, you want to start off with 2 sections of hair. To begin, you're going to pick up a thin strand from the outside of one of the sections, cross it over that section, and combine it with the opposite section. Then you want to do the exact same thing on the other side. After you've done that 2 times, you want to start combining a chunk of hair from the outside of the strand that you're crossing over into that strand. So for example, if I'm working with the right side, I'm going to pick up a thin strand from the outside of the right section, combine a chunk of hair from the outside of that strand, combine it together, and then cross it over to the left side. And again, if I'm working with the left side, I'm going to pick up a thin strand from the outside of the left section, combine a chunk of hair from the outside of the left side into that strand, and then cross that strand over to the right section. I'm going to keep repeating these steps until I reach my ear, and then I'm going to continue braiding a regular fishtail braid until I reach the halfway point of that section. I'm pulling apart the braid with my fingers to fan it out a little bit, and then I'm pinning back the braid behind my ear using a bobby pin. This last headband braid is probably my favorite. So to create this beautiful rope braided headband braid, all you have to do is start with 2 strands and start twisting the strands in the same direction while wrapping them around each other in the opposite direction. Once you've wrapped or crossed the twists over each other 1 time, you're going to start incorporating chunks of hair from the outside of the braid into the twists. So what I'm doing first is twisting both sections of hair towards my face, and then I'm combining chunks of hair from the outside of the twists into the twists, and then I'm twisting them again towards my face before I wrap them around each other away from my face. This one can be a little bit tricky if you haven't done it before, but I promise you it's so easy once you get it, and it's totally worth it. I'm continuing to braid this French rope braid until I reach my ear, and then I'm finishing off the braid with a regular rope braid until I reach about the halfway point of the strands that I'm working with. So I'm not going to be pulling apart this braid because I find that it looks great just the way that it is, so I'm just going to simply pin it back behind my ear using a bobby pin. Alright my loves, so that wraps up my headband braid hair tutorial. I personally love this French rope braided hairstyle. I feel like it's so different and so unique. Let me know which headband hairstyle was your favorite and leave your comments for me down below. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please be sure to do so to stay up to date on all the latest hair trends, hair tricks, and hair ideas. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Life is too short to have boring hair. Subscribe to my channel for endless hairstyling ideas.